Oh wait, I just.
I don't have my agenda today.
I hope he gets up to talk.
Okay, yeah, you can share this.
We'll find out, huh?
Says his name.
I like when they put who's doing what, so I can
Okay.
direct it to them, so it makes it quicker.
He's fishing.
Green Arrow Alpha.
Good evening. It's Thursday, May 22nd, 2025 at 6 p.m. This is the City of Franklin Plan Commission. Sir, would you please take the roll?
Mayor Nelson,
Here.
Commissioner Specht is excused. Commissioner Shago is excused. Commissioner Haley,
Here.
Alderman Salus,
Here.
Alderwoman Day,
Here.
Commissioner Leon is excused.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item B, approval of the minutes, approval of the regular meeting minutes of May 8th, 2025. Is there a motion?
I move approval.
I second. First and a second, any further discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Due to the bare quorum, including the presiding officer, I suggest the presiding officer state on the record that the presiding officer will be voting at this meeting.
Presiding officer is me. I will be voting at this meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. So now we'll go into item C. We've got 3 public hearing matters. Number 1, Mr. Martinez, you want me to read it, then you read your portion? Okay. Number 1, Safari Home Special Use Time Extension Request to extend for 1 year. Resolution number 2024-8153, imposing conditions and restrictions for the approval of a special use for Lake Grove Place, a multifamily development upon property located at 3709 West College Avenue. Mr. Martinez.
Thank you. Per the Unified Development Ordinance, the special use permit are valid for 1 year, and the developer is requesting a 1 year extension because the permit is expiring this month. So there are no changes proposed at this time, just a time extension. And the staff recommends approval.
Could you say a little louder in there?
Yeah, it's not catching.
That's kind of an important piece.
That the developer is not requesting any changes to the site plan or the special use, is just requesting the time extension.
Okay, no requested changes. Good. Okay, would you like to read the public hearing notice?
Notice of public hearing, City of Franklin Plan Commission, meeting on Thursday, May 22nd, 2025, at the Common Council Chambers of Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin. The applicant is Safari Homes Franklin LLC, property located at 3709 West College Avenue. The proposal is a resolution to extend for 1 year, resolution number 2024-8153, a resolution imposing conditions and restriction for the approval of a special use for Lake Grove Place, a multifamily development with 38 dwelling units. This public hearing is being held pursuant to the requirement of Section 15.3.0701, General Standards for Special Uses, and 15.9.0103, Applications for a Special Use Permit of the Unified Development Ordinance. A map of the affected property on all application materials and the proposed resolution are available at the Department of City Development. The public is invited to attend the public hearing and to provide input. The proposed resolution is subject to revisions following public hearing and the further consideration by the Plan Commission and the Common Council.
Thank you. It's 6:04 p.m. Anybody wishing to speak on item C1 and only C1 at this time, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Public hearing open.
Public hearing is now open. We may have to tap this to make sure it's working.
Not working. Showing that it's on, but. Try to speak.
What do you think, Luke? They're going to check it out.
Oh. You want to just grab one of the. What color? You'll have to speak very closely into that, so just be aware of that. You can hold it up if you want to right here like that. Yeah, that works.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Luann Verbrick, Luanne, V as in Victor, E as in Elephant, R as in Robert, B as in Boy, R as in Robert, I, C as in Cat, K. I live at 3825 West College Avenue. I happen to be a neighbor of this proposed unit, and I question the delay due to the fact that the maintenance that they do currently on the property and upkeep, to me, is a reflection that the holdup here is being able to correct the pipe that they want to connect into for water drainage for this community, Lake Grove. Currently, we've logged as neighbors, communities from Homes on the Park condos, numerous neighbors have called the city to complain about the lack of grass cutting on their property. I've asked them this fall at the back when they had trees fall down that would affect the water drainage. If it was a heavy snowy winter, these trees that were down would have caused water, the snow to melt back towards my property. I had to take it upon myself to do the removal of most of these trees. So if we haven't been able to do this resolution now, we're not able to upkeep to the maintenance of keeping the grass below 3 feet. I'm not confident that they'll be able to, once they do the development, to maintain the pipe that they're going to join onto the city or uphold their promises to build this new community. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to speak on C1 and only C1? Good evening and welcome.
Can you hear me? I'm Mary Jo Travis. I live at 4285 West College Avenue, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53.
Could you you can
Hello.
hold the mic up if you want.
I'm Mary Jo Travis.
You got it, good, you're good.
I live at 4285 West College Avenue, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53221. I was at the last meeting about this, and I understand there have been quite a few. At the last meeting, do we have the transcript from that meeting? At the end of the meeting, the mayor asked Safari and the property owner if the exception was voted down, would this be the last we would hear of it? And they said yes. It was voted down, and here we are again, taking everybody's time and money. The issues are the same. The reason that we don't want 38 more homes on our street is that the school is at capacity. We heard from a teacher and a principal last time. The fire department is too shorthanded to protect 38 more homes. We had a referendum in Franklin just a few years ago asking whether the taxpayers would pay for one more police officer. They said no, not even for one more. The traffic on College Avenue, we heard from one of the aldermen last year who said that last time. He said he went to that property to see it for himself, and he had a hard time making a left-hand turn out of College Avenue. We heard from another neighbor who said she has to cross College Avenue to get her mail. It's already a hazard. That street is only 2 lanes wide, and to have another 76 cars going down it twice a day, that would be just too much. We also talked about the stormwater runoff and the maintenance of the current property. I agree with this lady that the weeds are terrible on that property. If they can't even take care of that now, how are they going to take care of 38 more homes? So the issues are still the same. We asked them if this would be the end of it, and here they are asking for more time. I don't see any benefit to having 38 more homes on College Avenue. Is anybody else?
Well, after you're done, then I'll keep it open until anyone else wants to speak.
Okay. So the issues are still the same. Nothing's changed. We don't want 38 more homes. It's too late. You made a bad investment. We've all made mistakes. We've all bought stock that went down. We've all bought houses that went down in value. You can still fix up the house that's there and sell it for a profit once you clean up the land. Any questions for me?
No, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to speak on C1 and only C1, please come to the podium, state your name and address.
My name is Olga Rajkovic. I'm at 4295 West College. And College Avenue has enough condominiums, enough buildings. So big deal. It's kind of nice when you drive by and you actually see green grass for a while. I mean, this was turned down before, so what? Why do they want to build more? College Avenue, you can go up and down. That's all you have. It's apartment buildings, condos, or you're lucky if you have a few houses. That's about it. So why do they want to build more? I mean, someone is out to gain from this, a construction company or whoever wants to build there. If it was turned down once, what are they going to keep trying until it passes? Well, we shouldn't have to give up. I mean, don't the citizens of Franklin have a say? I'm against it. I was against it last time. I mean, leave a little grass, you know. Is it bothering the developer? Oh my goodness, there's a hunk of green grass there. Let's fill it up with stuff. College Avenue has enough apartments, enough houses, enough condominiums. I live in a condominium. So why can't they just leave that area the way it is, you know? I guess there's no answer. Well, that's all I have
Well,
to
actually,
say.
there is an answer.
What is it?
So, well, first of all, tonight's item is not about the project. So the project has been approved. So what they're looking for is an extension, and your concerns are documented, and the other people's concerns about, they still have to take care of the property. So if they're not taking care of the property, I'm calling inspection, I'll take care of inspection tomorrow to go out there and inspect it, because they have to take care of it.
My question still wasn't answered. Why can't they just leave it alone? So big deal. You have some grass there.
Well,
It's kind of nice to see
the
green grass.
project was already approved. So
Well, then I guess
Nice.
I'm wasting my time here.
I'm
just
just,
sit
I'm
down.
just correcting the record because the project has been approved. Just like it wasn't one police officer that got voted down, it was 3 in the referendum. So there's certain things that aren't correct, but we don't look to, unless we, staff normally at the end of this will then go back and brief people, but we're trying to expedite things a little bit by trying to correct the record as we go now. I don't disagree with any of you, but I'm just telling you that it's been approved.
I don't know. My name is Marilyn Smits, and I live in Park Meadows, which is next door to these condos, and I don't understand the question. What do you mean by special use?
So this property is zoned multifamily. The property is zoned multifamily for apartments. Then any apartment project or multifamily project requires a special use permit that is presented before the Plan Commission with a public hearing, like what we have today,
So
and then it goes to the Common
Condos, they need a
Council.
special use.
No, because it's multifamily. It doesn't matter if it's condos or not. Then this project was approved last year, and the permits are valid for 1 year. The developer is requesting additional time, 1 year more, to start construction. So this is the request to get.
Those condos been there for years?
No. The site is vacant, as you can see in the screen. The project was approved, but the developer needs more time to get all the financial, all the project schedule completed before they can start construction.
You say they're not.
Could you please speak into the mic so we can, 'cause we record these things. Thank you, ma'am.
So they're not being taken care of properly? Isn't that what you just said?
What I said is if the land, which is vacant, they still have an obligation and a duty to make sure the grass is kept cut
Right.
and things like that, and we'll have our inspection department go out there and take a look at it.
If they're condos, don't they have a board?
They're not built yet. This project
They're
is
not what?
asking for another year
Built yet.
extension.
It's a new condo.
What?
That's okay. We don't all need to chime in. Oh, boy. Yeah, he can. Okay. That's all we're doing, but we'll check out the overgrowth. Anyone else wishing to speak on item C1? It's only C1 at this time.
I have a question for
Well,
how.
if you're going to come up here again, ma'am, you have to state your name and address again for the record because
I'm
we have to
Mary
know.
Jo Travis, 4285 West College Avenue, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53221. So for how many multi-use, multi-family apartments is it currently approved?
It's for 38 units.
38 units of one family each or multiple families each?
Regular's right on the money.
This is, well, each unit for one family.
So what is it zoned, how many is it zoned for?
It's zoned for that use, for a multifamily.
For how many?
It depends on the size of the property. There's density requirements. And so 38 fits within the density for the lot's area.
Is 38 the limit?
38, that was approved 1 year ago with the special use permit was reviewed by Plan Commission and Common Council, and that was
when you bought it,
approved.
how many was it zoned for?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
When you bought this property, for how many
No,
units?
I know the developer.
Okay, well, when your customer bought this property, for how many units was it zoned?
It has a density standards, and as part of the special use permit, the developer presents a density, in this case 38 units for 4 acres, and that gets reviewed, and that's part of the approval. So the council already approved the 38 dwelling
Yes, you've
units.
said that a number of times, but prior to that approval, when your client bought that land, for how much density was it? Was it zoned?
It's zoned for, the density standard is 8 units per acre. It is
That's what it
approximately,
was zoned at when you bought it, or that's what the special use
Well,
changed it to?
when we review the permit, that's the density standard, the 8 units per acre. And that's not only for this property, for the
And how many acres was it?
multifamily. It's approximately 4 acres.
So it was zoned for 32, and you got a special use permit to make it for 38?
Because as part of the special use permit, developer may request an increase to the density, and
Well, I
that
say
goes.
he's had enough time. I don't think he should have it extended. He's had enough time. He's wasted
Okay.
everybody's time on this.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. City Attorney, you've got the floor. You had it on. Turn it back on, please. You're good.
Just for the record, the individual sitting at this front table is the city planner, not some real estate person working for a private client or anything.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm not the developer.
I'm Mary Jo Travis again. I apologize. I thought you were for Safari Homes. Is Safari Homes have a representative here?
Can you check the online meeting?
Yep.
Online.
Mr. Mansour. Yeah.
Sorry. Apologies.
Good evening, Mr. Mansour. Can you hear the meeting?
Yes, we can.
Okay, my question for you is when your client bought this property, for how many units was it zoned?
38 units?
Okay, 2 minutes ago, we heard that it was zoned for 32 at the time that he bought it.
Just to
I'm
clarify,
not aware.
1 year ago, the developer requested the 38 units, and that was reviewed as part of the permit, and it was granted.
Well,
And-
the last
and-
meeting that I was at, it was turned down. What was turned down at the last meeting we had about this? We all got a postcard in the mail. We all showed up. We all gave our reasons why we didn't want this.
Okay, what we're gonna do is Alderwoman Day, why don't you chime in on this, and then I will, and then we can move forward.
There were several meetings on this last year between the Plan Commission and the Common Council. And I do believe, although I don't have the date in front of me, there was a meeting where a portion of this did not pass the Plan Commission. However, it then went to Common Council, and it passed at Common Council.
All
That's
right, well,
exactly right.
So you're correct in that there was a portion of this last year that failed to get four affirmative votes at this body, at Plan Commission.
Yes.
It then moves forward to Common Council, and it did receive enough affirmative votes at Common Council to be approved and move forward
At the 38 units.
for the 38 units.
Well, I just think that this person is greedy. They bought this property and now they're trying to get away with something, and they feel if they keep asking for extensions, they'll beat us down, and their time is up. May 1st it expired. I say no more extensions.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Anybody else wishing to speak on item C1 and C1 alone? If you speak on this, ma'am, we have to ask you to come up there because it's got to be recorded. From what?
Yeah.
College Avenue has
Can we have your name one more time?
Olga Rajkovic.
Works.
I live at Park Meadows. Go up and down College Avenue. There's more than enough condominiums. There's more than enough apartment buildings. So this little bit of land, can't they just leave it alone? Or is whoever wants to build there, they're getting really greedy. Can't you just leave the green grass the way it is? It's kind of nice to drive on College Avenue. I go by it every day because I live there. So what is it? You know, tell the developer, whatever it is, Missouri Safari Homes, why don't they go out on Loomis Road? There's more than enough places where they can build, way more than enough. Why are they so concerned about this little bit of green grass? I mean, are they getting a kickback from the developer or something? Why can't they just leave it alone?
Well, to move this along, they are the developer, number one, and it was approved for 38 units. So we're not discussing approval of the project. The project was approved. Tonight's ask is to ask for a 1-year extension. That's it. The project has already been approved, ma'am.
Well, I'm against that because they already had more than enough time. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to speak on this item, C1 alone? Okay, close the hearing at 6:22, open for members of the Plan Commission to Mr. Haley.
Thank you, sir. I guess I just have a simple question for the applicant, or maybe planning staff can help us. But we had a lot of discussion last time this was here about connection of utilities, stormwater, water mains, all going across county land or potentially the neighbors. It was all going to get worked out, and I believe the motion that I made included a requirement for that. I don't know if the council passed that, but I'm wondering where we're at. Have they made any progress in terms of dealing with the site utility issues and all of the off-site things?
Yeah, we received comments from engineering, and they're still working on the developer agreement with the developer and the engineering department.
Okay, I guess my question is a bit more specific. Is they had apparently reached out to the county once prior to the previous meetings. Have they had ongoing negotiations? I mean, what we're talking about doing is very atypical. Water mains, storm sewers in county highway right-of-way, and that was a concern that I and others had. And I'm just wondering, you know, it's been a year. Have they made progress on that? Because that's a process that's going to take some time as well.
Well,
Yes. We worked with the county. There is no objection. We worked with the city. So there is nothing stopping us from proceeding what we agreed on.
So you have right-of-way permits and easements in place. Is that what I'm hearing?
Everything agreed, and we are ready to sign the development agreement with the city once we have the extension.
Okay, my concern is that we make progress on that, because that's not just a simple phone call with them saying it's okay. You'll need that in writing. There's legal documents that need to be done, and engineering should be all over that.
Yes, and the city is aware of all development as well.
Okay, my caution is let's get it done. I mean, I would have think that would have been the first thing that was done, because it affects the feasibility of your whole development, but that's your business. Done.
All right, Alderwoman Day, then Alderman,
Thank you.
Bill?
My question is for the applicant. I'm not sure if he was online and able to hear the initial
I
comments that
don't think
came.
he was.
Okay, so just to catch you up a little bit, a couple of the residents that spoke before you were in the meeting had some concerns, and I just wanted to bring them to your attention because I think the mayor and/or someone else on city staff will be forwarding these over to our inspections department. But there were some concerns about the upkeep and maintenance of the property itself, as far as fallen trees and grass and weeds and whatnot. So is there someone that is maintaining or at least keeping eyes on the property to make sure that the upkeep of that is being maintained according to city standards and to ensure that there's no runoff or flooding issues that are being created for the neighbors?
Yes, we are keeping an eye on that. The issue that happened during the winter time, the tree fallen, so there is nothing we could do. But now it's spring, so we plan to clear everything, and definitely we're going to take care of the neighbors and the property.
Okay, thank you for that.
Alderman Salus?
In fact, I spoke with the developer this afternoon, and very much the maintenance, I discussed with him as well, and the timeline, and he's listening to us. He's taking action. He's saying I was detached from the property a little bit, while they're doing the planning and so on. But he promised a new day, and that he'll be very much like, start on the project very soon. And he will take care of the site. That's basically what I was promised.
Okay, good. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I will. So, sir, if you can ensure, because I'm going to inspection tomorrow and request him to come out there, because we just do not want to have any negative impact. And I'm just saying this loud so you can hear me. I'm not trying to be loud over this way, but loud so you can hear me. To make sure there's no negative impact on the neighbors' properties as was discussed and insured about a year ago when this was all approved, because those same concerns came out there. So I'm just going to ask that when you see our inspection department sniffing around, that's what they're out there for.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So would you like to read the motion?
A motion to recommend approval of a resolution to extend for 1 year resolution number 2024-8153 and resolution imposing conditions and restrictions for the approval of a special use for Lake Grove Place, a multifamily development with 38 dwelling units located at 3709 West College Avenue.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to accept, to adopt.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Let's do a roll call since there's only 4 of us, please.
Commissioner Haley,
Aye.
Alderman Salus,
Aye.
Alderwoman Day,
Aye.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye. 4 ayes, no noes, motion carries. Going on to C2. Public hearing business matters under C as in Charles number 2, Tsunami Car Wash Special Use Amendment, request to amend resolution number 2024-8222, imposing conditions and restrictions for the approval of a special use for Tsunami Express Car Wash, a car wash facility upon property located at 6449 South Whitnall Edge Road. Mr. Martinez.
Thank you. This request is to an amendment to the special use permit that was already granted for this car wash facility located at Lovers Lane and Whitnall Edge Road. Next slide, please. So the changes proposed by the applicant are basically the addition of a sound wall by the exit of the car wash and an aluminum handrail also in this area, and also a guardrail by this drive to the entrance of the car wash. Next slide, please. That's the detail of the handrail and the proposed sound wall. The purpose of the sound wall is, if you go back to the previous slide, so there's residential zoning in this area, so the sound wall will kind of reduce any impacts to the residential area. to the east. So that will change one condition of the previously approved special use. It says that the blowers must turn off when the exit doors of the car wash open. So with the addition of the sound wall and according to the sound monitoring report by the applicant, this will not be required. So we're proposing to just eliminate that provision. Other than that, yeah, staff recommends approval of the special use amendment request.
Thank you. Would you please read the hearing notice?
Notice of public hearing, City of Franklin Plan Commission, Thursday, May 22nd, 2025, at the Common Council Chambers of Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road. Applicant is Tsunami Express Car Wash Franklin LLC. The property is located at 644 South Whitnell Edge Road. The proposal is a resolution to amend Resolution 2024-8222, imposing conditions and restrictions for the approval of a special use for Tsunami Express Car Wash. This public hearing is being held pursuant to the requirement of Section 15.30701, General Standards for Special Uses, and 15.90103, Applications for a Special Use Permit of the Unified Development Ordinance. A map of the affected property and all application materials and the proposed ordinance are available at the Department of City Development. The public is invited to attend the public hearing and to provide input. The proposed ordinance is subject to revisions following public hearing and the further consideration by the Plan Commission and the Common Council.
Thank you. It's 6:32 p.m. We will open the hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on C as in Charles number 2 and only C2, please come to the podium. State your name and address for the record. Good evening.
Todd Stucker, 6493 Whitnell Edge Road. I was here the last time. Was there I asked for a traffic study. Was there one done?
Yeah, that was submitted and presented on the following meeting. And
And it came out, turned out all right?
yes, yeah.
'Cause,
And
we
the
got,
special was granted.
I mean, we have a strip mall right there with Asian, the Asian restaurant, you know, and I just say, like, that's enough traffic. And my big deal is, I'm not saying it's going to close or nothing, we have 6 car washes within 2 miles. You got one on 76 in Rawson, you got one at Quick Trip right across the street, you got one on Culver's, Forest Home, and Highway 100, BP on Grange and Forest Home, Highway 100 across the street from Crunches, and you got one on Layton and Highway 100. Why do we need another one? And if it does close, it's only highest and best use is a car wash. And who's going to buy a car wash once it closes? You have no other uses for this thing to develop. If it were an office building, you could have something to do other than an office building. You have whatever. But you have no options once that thing closes. Highest, best use, you're done. Like I say, that's my big main concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. I can address some of that. So, number one, so this project has already been approved and already moving forward. And as far as when you look at something that's best use, I don't disagree with you. I mean, yeah, there's 6, and the one you said across from that workout place is Hills Corners Car Wash, and I've had it passed there since 1993. And, you know, you look at different things and how things move forward, but if we have something there, let's say, for example, that car wash would not succeed, okay? Then you would have another business that wished to move in there. We make site plan amendments, we make amendments to try to, they're not locked in at a car wash, if that's what you were stating. They're not locked in at that use. So what we're saying is there's other uses that would be approved, it's just the council has to approve it.
Okay.
Anybody else wishing to speak on C2? Hello.
Susan Bartel, 6485 Whitnell Edge Road. Now, I think I got confused there. It is already approved? All right. Then
Correct.
after the last other hearing, it was like, what's the point? but I'm going to make a couple points because last time I was here, someone on this end put a hold on it for the traffic study. My problem with your traffic study was it was done while construction was being done on Highway 100. How accurate was that little pole up there at that time? And I just have it bothers me that Tsunami is not one of your constituents, and we are, and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You say, I agree with you. Well, if you agree with it, then vote it down.
It's already been approved.
Yes, okay, but I'm still going to make some comments here because I think in the future, you've got to think of your constituents. You know, we're going to have to live with that noise, whether you have the wall or not. We're going to have the noise, we're going to have the lights, we're going to have the traffic. When we want to get home on that winter day, when that traffic is out on Highway 100 and the accidents happen, look at your choices. And we were very unhappy about it, and we stated it last time. And with the exception of the gentleman that was on this end, I don't think he's here tonight, was the only one that stalled it by saying we wanted a traffic study. And I just think we're worried about water too. You know, what's going to happen to our water when this thing comes in? What happens to our residential community? I mean, this may be a little thing, but when I think of the poor people that are by the rock because of choices you made, I don't want to have this. I've been here for over 30 years, living there. The Speedway was fine. They were there first. But I was here first, and now you're going to infringe on my nice home and my neighbor's home with this car wash that's not necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else wishing to speak on item C2? Okay. Closed at 6:37. Open up to Alderwoman Day.
Thank you. Just a question with regard to the changes for condition 4. I noticed that the staff recommendation is to maintain condition 4 with regard to the sound wall on the south property if there are violations over the 65 decibel. I'm curious why. I understand, I read the sound study. I understand that there's no, from the study, they don't believe with the changes that have been made that there's going to be an impact on the neighbors. But is there really any harm in leaving a condition in there similar for that sound wall to the east if there are violations to the sound? Based on the sound study, it should be fine, but I feel like it's a fair safeguard to put in place that if there's it should be, in my mind, the same on both sides.
If there is a violation to the east?
Yeah.
Okay. Up to the Plan Commission, however, with this amendment or with this addition of the sound wall, actually the applicant is making the situation better because it will reduce any noise impact to the east where the residents are located.
Could you explain it a little bit closer? I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I really want to have the...
Maybe I'm just not seeing it from this particular rendering of it, of how it's going to... Because I understand, but I'm thinking also of the part of this development that is to the east. I understand where the car wash and the main noise is going to be coming from, but there's still other factors on the other side, closer to the east. So that's the cars are queuing there, the side closest to Whitnall. I see that. The cars are queuing there. They're going to come around, and then the car wash is along Lover's Lane. I get all of that. But at the same time, if cars are queuing, and I'm thinking, you know, in the summer, if people have windows down or whatnot, I just think there should be something in place if or when there are violations, that there's something there. Not saying that they have to do it. And the sound study makes it seem like they don't believe that there's ever going to be a problem. But I think it's a fair ask or consideration for discussion.
So, ma'am, if you have a rebuttal, could you please state your name and business address for the record?
Yeah, so
Just speak really close into this.
my name is Miranda Seals. I'm the architect. Our business is the Redmond Company at West 228 North 745.
One of those addresses.
Yeah, West Mountain Road in Waukesha. So if I understand correctly, you are worried that the vehicles actually on the property, not the building itself, is going to contribute or cause a sound issue for the residents.
I'm wondering that. I mean, I understand the gentleman's point about there being multiple car washes in the area, but this is a different, a little bit different type of car wash than say Quick Trip and BP. And so I have seen the car washes similar to this in Franklin on certain days where everybody needs to get their car washed, and I can see the cars, you know, kind of queuing back, and they're going to queue back towards the residential side. So as I said, I don't anticipate that would cause any sort of issue, but I think it's a fair safeguard for discussion to say if noise becomes an issue on that side from the cars queuing, that it be a condition that other sound mitigation factors, maybe not necessarily a wall, but other sound mitigation needs to be put in place.
So I'm not very sure how that can be implemented because Tsunami is not responsible or in charge of how their customers act. So we can't put in a condition that you have to have your music off and your windows rolled up when you're in the
I don't
queue.
think that's the
That's
question.
not, yeah, that's not what I'm saying.
So,
She'll
okay.
clarify.
Yeah, no, I'm not stating that. I'm saying if that does happen. So Tsunami is responsible for, you know, the patrons that come to use their establishment. So this would be then some sort of mitigation factor in the event that that does happen.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking. I don't know that I can answer that question, if I'm going to be honest.
If I may, Alderwoman, to clarify your point, because I got 2 points coming up, just on the noise. The noise generated by the car wash, we have what you believe to be proper mitigation.
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
We have
Okay.
proper mitigation and a backup plan in case that is not enough.
That's wonderful, and that's what we wanted to get out there, people, so they can understand that there is efforts for this. Now, as far as, now you've got still the floor, so
Yeah.
if you want to clarify
And then-
going moving forward.
And then also, do you have, because again, the rendering that we have up there right now, I know it doesn't show all of the details. I'm assuming this will also have a station where people can pull in and vacuum out and that kind of thing. Where is that on this?
That is basically the entire parking lot.
So in the middle there?
Yes.
Okay, and then is there, so where that is occurring, if all of those stalls are full, it's a really busy day, all those stalls are full and people are using it, that sound is not going to
Correct.
straight over to the residential neighborhood?
That is what the sound study shows. Yes, the sound study we ran had the blower doors open, the blowers on, the entrance door open, and every single vacuum in use, in addition to the existing traffic noise.
Okay. Okay, thank you, that's what I'm looking for, thank you.
Okay.
And I've got 2 points on this. And since citizen comment period's over, so 2 points I have, one that this young lady brought up was the lighting. Okay, are there, now, so the lighting, do you have shields on the lights, something that doesn't put that light, the light's not gonna be going past the lot line and affecting any, just like we did at the Rock, even though I know somebody was talking about the Rock, what we did is they had the light shades put on. Is that also in effect with this?
We are not reviewing the lighting plan at this time, but we reviewed a year ago when the original special use permit was approved. We reviewed the lighting plan and it was in compliance.
And the lighting plan, and I'll say it louder speaking here, so the lighting plan was reviewed and approved. So it's not going to have a negative impact on neighbors,
Correct.
okay? Good. Water. We heard about a water concern. Is there any concern, it's a city municipal water system.
So Tsunami uses a water reclaim system. So approximately 80% of the water that they use, they reuse again. They treat it on site through a DNR approved reclaim system. And I don't know if many people know this, but Wisconsin DNR is the hardest DNR to get approval for a reclaim system. So their approved reclaim system takes most of the wastewater and treats it and reuses it back in the car wash. So the DNR looked at all the SDS safety data sheets and all the chemicals that are used when they were doing that approval. And then, so no toxic chemicals are going to be released into the wild.
And it has no negative impact on water usage, like you're not going to
Correct.
create a water shortfall.
Correct.
So in case anybody didn't hear, so that's an 80% water reclamation system that's in effect. So 80% of the water used in an initial car, 80% of that will be used in the next car.
Correct.
And that's how this is working. So
Yes.
it's not going to have a negative impact on the water availability
Correct.
to the residents.
The reclaim system actually allows it to use less water than some of their competitors.
Thank you for explaining that. Any further questions from the commissioners?
So,
Alderman
just,
Sluse?
just like the question, like with this amendment, so if we basically say, oh, we're not gonna amend anything, so they have a plan has been approved without the sound wall, am I correct?
Correct.
It's no brainer for us to
Okay,
object.
good point. Would you like to please read the motion? Is there one motion or only? Mr. Martinez, there's only one motion?
One motion.
Thank you.
A motion to recommend approval of a resolution to amend resolution number 2024-8222 imposing conditions and restrictions for the approval of a special use for Tsunami Express Car Wash located at 6449 South Whitnall Edge Road.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
We got a first.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Haley. Roll call, please, on all these motions.
Commissioner Haley,
Aye.
Alderman Saluz,
Aye.
Alderwoman Day,
Aye.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye. 4 ayes, no noes. Motion carries. Thank you
Thank
for all
you.
those explanations. We are now up to C3. C as in Charles, number 3. O'Reilly Auto Parts, special use, public hearing, and site plan request to allow for an automotive supply store upon property located at 7251 South 27th Street. The applicant is requesting the following waivers from the South 27th Street Design Overlay District, and there are 10 of them listed.
Okay.
Mr. Hamel, you've got the floor.
Good evening. So, yeah, as you stated there, it's a request for an O'Reilly's Auto Parts store at this address on 7251 South 27th Street. This property is located in the B4 South 27th Street Mixed Use Commercial District, and the property or the use that is requested for the special use today is classified as SIC code number 5531 Auto and Home Supply Stores, and again, these are classified as a special use in the B4 district, so that is the reason for the special use. They are also submitting for the site plan application. O'Reilly received site plan and special use approval back in 2017. However, construction never started, so the special use and site plan approvals lapsed, so they're looking for approval again. Just to go over briefly, so the South 27th Street has a special design overlay district that puts further restrictions on development or on design aspects of the development within South 27th Street. Within that, there is a provision that the applicant can request a waiver to waive any of the design aspects that are required in that overlay design district. However, it requires 5 plan commission member votes, affirmative plan commission member votes. So it would not be able to be, so those 10 waivers could not be able to be approved today. Additionally, as you see here, the applicant is proposing 2 accesses along Minnesota, none along South 27th. We received a comment yesterday, I believe, or an email yesterday from the state DOT, Art, and he had some concerns about how close the eastern access was to South 27th and had some concerns about either queuing or some sort of blockage along Minnesota Avenue. So we are recommending approval of the special use for the property because that just only approves the use. It doesn't approve the site plan. However, we are recommending to table the site plan and the waivers to the next applicable meeting so that we have enough members here to vote on those waivers. And so that is that.
Can I ask a question or not?
Yeah, Alderman Sluis, then we're going to open up the public hearing.
Could you please help me out understand why they want all these waivers, like, especially when it comes to landscape? I fully understand the window issues, probably safety and security, but like the landscaping issues and stuff.
Yeah, quite a few of them are due to site constraints. This is a fairly small lot within the South 27th Street. A lot of these design,
The lot is?
it's 0.7 acres, 37,000 square feet. So with the size of the parking that's required, they're required to have adequate parking as well as the drive. So some of these site constraints, is particularly with the landscaping stuff. So in some of the landscaping ones, it requires 20 square feet of interior landscaped islands. So that would mean something like, I can't move my cursor here, but there's a little triangle down there on the southeast corner of the building. There's a little triangle there that's there on the southeast corner of the building. I can't see, I'm colorblind. But that is the only one that would qualify towards that. And there's really no other way to fit it in with this site configuration. So that's why they're requesting a waiver. That's an example. Another one is like a corner entrance. So on any lot that in the 27th Design Overlay District that is on a corner, so Minnesota 27th, it requires a corner entrance. So one that is on that southeast corner. A lot of applicants request that waiver as it doesn't usually fit within their typical application process. So they're requesting a waiver for that as well. If there's any more specific ones we can go into, otherwise I think it's
Public hearing.
either after the public hearing or at the next applicable plan commission meeting, because we are recommending it to be tabled.
Thanks. All right, could you please read the public hearing notice?
Yeah. Hearing date, Thursday, May 22nd, 2025 at 6 p.m. Place, Common Council Chambers at Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132. The applicant is O'Reilly Automotive Stores Incorporated. Subject property, 7251 South 27th Street. Tax key number 761-9956-001. The proposal, a special use permit request to allow for an automotive supply store, auto and home supply stores under standard industrial classification, title number 5531, requires a special use permit in the B4 South 27th Street Mixed Use District per Unified Development Ordinance Table 15-3.0603. This public hearing is being held pursuant to the requirements and standards of Section 15-3.0701, General Standards for Special Uses, and 15-9.0103, Applications for Special Use Permit of the City of Franklin Unified Development Ordinance. A map showing the property affected, full legal description, application, all supporting materials, and special use resolution are available for review and may be obtained from the Department of City Development at Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin 53132. Telephone number 414-425-4024 during normal business hours. The public is invited to attend the public hearing and to provide input. The proposed draft form resolution is subject to revisions following public hearing and the further consideration by the Plan Commission and City of Franklin Common Council.
Well done. It's 6:53 p.m. Open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on only item C3, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Good evening.
My name is Roger Nicholas. I live at 2810 West Minnesota Avenue, which I have the adjoining property there. My biggest concern is obviously some traffic that would be coming through there, but also how far off the property line the building is. Also, I can't see this layout here, but I'm sure there's some trash containers on the one side of the building there, which is right close to my house, which I have to put up with the church and Cancun's garbage trucks going through there. I have a lot of concerns for all of that stuff. Also, I'm worried about my property value. I got almost a $300,000 home, and it's going to deteriorate probably because, or depreciate, I should say, because of this property here. I don't know. All of these requests, ground floor windows, ground floor windows, ground floor windows. What's that all about? That's my concern too. Are they changing the size of the windows, or what are they doing?
If staff can answer this now, or staff can answer you after this, but if you have the answer.
After, I'll answer after.
Okay.
After?
Yeah.
Once we close, Luke, are you saying after we close?
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
And when do they
hearing.
plan on starting this project? After 8 years?
So typically special uses and site plans, construction has to begin within 1 year of construction date. We do have the applicant here. They can maybe guide you through their timeline.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak on C3 and only C3? Seeing nobody? It is 6:56. We'll close public hearing. Uh-oh.
Hi, my name is Ignacio Sepulveda, 2805 West Minnesota, and I have a lot of concern about the entrance on Minnesota Avenue.
The entrance?
Yeah, the entrance, correct. And we have enough people, cars on the little Cancun restaurants loud, with windows down, and I think it's gonna be more. And I agree. Having interest on Minnesota Avenue. That's my only concern about the project.
Okay, so any of your concerns, these gentlemen will answer after if they can, they'll answer them after the public hearing closes.
That's all I have.
I'm sorry?
No, that's my only concern about the interest on Minnesota Avenue. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, okay.
Yes.
I'm going to ask these two gentlemen right here
Okay.
to understand your question,
My question.
then respond to your question if they can after the public hearing is closed.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And full disclosure, I was at Little Cancun last night, and I left no garbage on my plate. Amazing. Oh, love Little Cancun. All right. Anyone else wish to speak on this? Seeing nobody? Now we will close it at 6:57. Good call, Alderwoman Day. So, questions from the commission? Concerns? Issues? Alderwoman Day.
Oh, do we want to do it now or call the applicant up?
Well, I'll tell you
my
what.
question might be for the.
Why don't we do this?
They're virtual.
Applicant is here. Is the applicant here?
They're virtual.
They're virtual.
Yeah. There's
Okay,
a couple
so
of them.
let's get them on the virtual train here. And then we're going to see if we can answer and address the concerns of the constituents.
Zach?
Yes,
Dave?
hello.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah, can you hear me? This is Tom Lundberg. I'm with the Office of the Architects.
Yep.
ahead, Jim.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, Tom. Thank you.
Okay.
So why
I
don't
guess
we?
go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
no, go ahead. If you're clear on what the questions were, please address them.
I think, again, the concerns about the dumpster, I assume you have the plans up on the screen, perhaps. You can see
Yeah.
it on the landscape, the L1.1. I want to just kind of point out that that is on the west side of the building. And there is a 6-foot wood fence proposed along that west property line. And you can see that again, the dumpster is right behind the building that has a enclosure around the dumpster, a masonry enclosure. And that is very, very, very well screened, if you will, with landscaping, trees and shrubs, which will soften any effect, I think, of that dumpster. Now, granted, there will be trucks come in, but again, that's not really any different than any other commercial development. But we've gone to great extents to try to lessen the impact of that dumpster on that west side. the drive off of Minnesota, and Caleb with OWN is also on the phone. He's a civil engineer. He can address this some more as well. But again, the amount of cars generated by O'Reilly is typically not a very high amount. Caleb, can you kind of talk on that a little bit? I know you guys deal with
Yeah. Good evening, Commission. My name is Caleb Freeland. My address is 3213 Southwest Bypass, Springfield, Missouri. So to address that gentleman's concern about the traffic volume, O'Reilly Auto Parts is a pretty produces very little traffic. You're talking about less than 200 daily trips on a weekend, about 20 during a peak hour. So I don't think the traffic burden on Minnesota is something to be too concerned about. I also wanted to mention that we do have a permit with DOT for the drainage connection and for the sidewalk work. We got that comment back from them on the east driveway connection. That was today, this morning. So we're working on getting them an answer. The site layout that we've got proposed does allow for the trucks to turn in on that east driveway, which I think they didn't realize that was possible. So I think just because we got it today, I don't know if they've seen it yet, but I think the existing site plan will work for them.
Okay, we don't go back and forth. It's only the public hearing, but we're going to waive it just for one quick question.
Just one quick question.
Go ahead,
Yes,
sir.
name is Roger Nicholas again. I own an adjacent property. How high is that fence going to be alongside the property?
6 foot. The question was, how high is the fence along the property?
Yes, that is 6 foot. That's correct.
I wanted him to repeat it, Counselor. Thank you.
Thank you.
For both of you, Counselor and you, sir. All right, any further questions from Alderwoman Day? You've got the floor.
Thank you. My questions are a bit different than what has been brought up this evening already by the residents. So I'm looking at, this is the letter that was placed at our chairs this evening. It's a letter from the architect dated February 14th, 2025, revised on April 8th, 2025, about the project description. On page 2, it discusses 2 issues that I just wanted a little bit more detail on. The first talks about deliveries, and it says there's roughly 5 deliveries per week with a 53-foot trailer between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. So given that this is next to a residential neighborhood, I'm curious about the noise level of that. Is it going to be trucks backing in that are beeping? Are trucks going to be idling? What and how did the deliveries happen?
And yeah, you are correct in that they are a larger trailer that O'Reilly uses. They are, again, they have these all over the country, so they are very aware of noise issues. So again, they will make a big effort to be as unobtrusive as possible. But yes, indeed, they will do it outside of normal business hours so they don't disrupt their typical business. Part of the way the site plan is set up is that, like I say, although we're asking for some waivers on landscaping, as you can see, there is an extensive amount of landscaping around all sides, specifically the south side and west side of the property, which will, I believe, help buffer some of that sound and trucks coming into the property just by the simple amount of landscaping that's shown. So I believe that will help alleviate some of that noise.
Yeah, I guess my main concern with this, when we've had other commercial businesses that are adjacent to residential homes, we typically ask questions about if the delivery trucks will be idling, backup, beeping, that type of thing. So as far as you know, will those 2 things be occurring when these deliveries happen overnight?
And again, we don't deal with the operations of the site. Honestly, we're dealing with the layout. So, I can't answer exactly how they do that. But, if they need to turn the truck off, then I'm sure that O'Reilly would be more than willing to, work with any requirements you might place on that.
Okay, and I'm going to assume, based on your answer to that question, that you're not going to be able to answer my second question as the architect, but it was also about the overnight parking of the company vehicles, and if those are just, when the business is closed for the day, those are just in the parking lot and they just wait for normal business hours, or do those also go out after business hours?
Those are typically more in business hours because those are used for local deliveries.
Okay.
So those would generally be more for, deliveries during the day.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the information of what you could give. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any further questions, comments? So are we actually then going to do any of the,
We can't vote on the waivers because
sorry, say it again. Coughing.
we can't vote on the waivers because we don't have enough members to vote on them. You need 5 plan commission votes to authorize a waiver of the South 27th Design Overlay District. So and in general, I'm not comfortable, approving the site plan and then doing the waivers later. I would rather table the site plan and the waivers and do it all at once, where we have everybody enough people voting on the thing to make an informed decision.
Okay, so the motion tonight would be simply to table this until next meeting.
Well, we would still be able to approve of the special use because that is just for the use of the property. The site plan and the waivers are just connected to the site plan. So
Okay.
I'm suggesting that we recommend approval of special use, table, site plan, and waivers.
Sounds good. Do you want to read the motion for the special use? Please.
A special use, a motion to recommend approval of a resolution imposing conditions and restriction for the approval of a special use for an auto supply store located at 7251 South 27th Street.
Your motion?
So moved.
First, and do we have a second?
I second.
First and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. The second one be to,
Table.
I'll make the motion to table the site plan for the O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
we've got a first on the motion to table till next meeting,
I second.
Till
June 5th.
June 5th.
till June what?
5th.
June 5th. We have a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Excellent. Is that it on C3?
That would be it on C3.
Good. Going into D as in David, citizen comment period. Any citizen wishing to speak on the mentioned E1 through 6, please come up to the podium regarding only E1 through E6. State your name and address for the record. Going once, going twice. Closed citizen comment period. E as in Edward, number 1, Luke. E1, Badger Mobile Home Park, site plan amendment, request to allow for the installation of fencing along the front yard of the property abutting South 27th Street, 6405 South 27th Street. You've got the floor.
Yep. So the applicant is Badger Mobile Home Park here at 6405. They were looking to install a kind of picket fencing along this east property line, so the front yard of the property. Now, in general, we don't allow fencing in front yards in residential districts. However, there is a provision in section 15-3.0802E2C of the UDO where in the R8 district, where fencing may generally improve aesthetics of the property, of the development, a wall or fence may be erected in the front yard of the development by approval of the Plan Commission. So that's why we had them submit a site plan amendment application for your review and approval. There are 2 sections of fencing. That's because it splits up the driveway here. There's approximately 98 feet of fencing along this red line here. It's a little hard to see. And then 108 feet of fencing along here, approximately 3 feet off the property line. The fence will be 4 feet high. It's picket fencing. However, it doesn't meet our decorative style fencing, or else it would be generally permitted, which it would have to be 3 feet tall and 75% open. But we are recommending approval of this site plan amendment.
Excellent. Questions, comments? Mr. Haley?
Are they proposing the flat top fence or the one with the curved top?
I believe it's the top one.
Flat top is.
Yeah, the flat top.
Exact same thing.
Thank you.
Is there a motion on this?
A motion to adopt a resolution approving a site plan for fence within the front yard of a property zone R8 multiple family residence district upon property located at 6405 South 27th Street.
I make a motion to approve.
So we got a first.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Further discussion. I'd like to take this a step further. Can we perhaps amend the motion so it is the top one? So it is I think that's the maximum effect by a fence, not to have that droop look, which is now lowers it by about a foot. I think we lose the impact on that. So if that would be good with the motions.
You got to make a motion to amend second and then vote on that. And then
Thank you, Counselor. Motion to amend? Yes? We're going to do it all by the book, write down the letter, even because it's so inconsequential as this fence, but we'll do it.
Sure.
So we have a motion to amend, second to amend. All those in favor to amend?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, now, to amend that motion, it's the motion that as presented, just specifying the top flat fence. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, is that the motion for that?
Yes.
Okay, we got a first, second for that?
I second.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have a motion carries. Counselor, are you satisfied with that? Yes.
motion was already made, motion passed, that amended it. Now you voted on the main motion. There was not another motion, so that was Member Saluza and Member Day that first or moved and seconded the main motion. So, for the record,
Short answer is yes.
well, I corrected it a little bit, so it's good. But it's good.
As long as you are satisfied, we can move forward. All right.
Planner is shaking his head yes the whole time.
So everybody's happy. Good. Fence deal. Now I've learned a lesson. Let the little fence go. Mr. Martinez, E2, Rosen Automotive, temporary use, request to allow for a tent auto sale from June 18th through June 21st upon the property located at 7016 South Ballpark Drive. Mr. Martinez.
Thank you. As you mentioned, this is a temporary use for an auto sale. This application is being presented before the Plan Commission because the subject property, which is these two parcels here in Ballpark Drive, are vacant. They don't have a principal use. So it requires the approval of the Plan Commission on a vacant site.
Right, the
This
parking
is
lot there.
Yeah, this is a view of the side. So the applicant will have the auto sale here with a tent and the car display area approximately here.
Okay,
This is the site plan. It's hard to see, but it's basically what I mentioned.
that's that parking lot right there.
The recommendation includes the conditions that are typical for special uses. It was submitted for review by other departments. The comments are also included, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Questions, concerns from the commission?
What is
Mr.
the,
Salus,
what is
you
the
got the floor.
capacity, how many cars, the capacity of this parking lot?
That was part of the comments.
It is in there. I don't recall it, but it's in there.
Yeah, I asked that question as part of the review comments. The response I have from the applicant that they will have more than enough area for parking. And also the Ballpark Drive allows for on-street parking as well. But I don't have the exact number.
That's okay. And just like a follow-up question, like how long is this like a one-day type of a thing, or is it?
June 18th to June 21st.
Okay.
Thank
you. Should write that down. Thanks.
Your motion, sir?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
First and second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. E is in Edward, number 3, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you. This is an application for to allow for the yurt as a permanent structure. We can see it is existing. It's already there. It's by the ski chalet just next to the rental building for the Crystal Ridge ski area. We can see the yurt. The yurt was already approved by the Plan Commission years ago, but it has a condition that it needs to be removed. So now the applicant is requesting to allow for the yurt permanently.
Staff comments on that?
Yeah, staff recommends approval. It was reviewed. The location was already reviewed last time, and it complies with the location, the height, setbacks.
Questions, comments from the commission? Alderwoman Day?
Just a brief one. Is there any sort of reinspection or anything that needs to occur to make sure that it's still in compliance with, as you said, with setbacks or just maintenance or anything along those lines?
Well, we routed to other departments, so the applicant is responsible to obtain for any approval for engineering if that is required, and also to meet fire code.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Alderman Sluse?
A question, do we have a chance to ask for any landscaping improvement in the surrounding that?
That was presented years ago when this was reviewed. The applicant submitted a landscape plan, but it's not doing changes with this. It's just to allow for being permanently. But yeah, that was reviewed years ago. I think it was 2021 during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I see. Okay.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
We have a first, is there a second?
Well, second.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. A yurt, we should have offered up a prize if you knew what a yurt was. C4, Crystal Ridge Ski Hill Ski Patrol Building, site plan amendment request to allow for a ski patrol building to replace the current container that houses the ski patrol located west of the ski lodge upon property located at 7011 South Ballpark Drive. Mr. Martinez.
Thank you. Same site. We have the yurt here, and this is the area for the ski patrol building. Currently, there is a container that houses the ski patrol. So the applicant is proposing this building is 420 square feet, kind of for a more permanent house for the ski patrol. The use will be for medical care, equipment storage, and meeting area. This is the proposed building. Location, staff review for compliance with setbacks, building height, landscape surface ratio, and the proposed building meets these standards of the PDD. We also routed for all comments from other departments, and those are included in the conditions of approval, like enforcement to the building code and fire code. And staff recommends approval.
Staff recommends approval. Excellent. Comments from plan commissioners? Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
I second.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item E is in Edward, number 5. Very patient school people. Mr. Cromie, Franklin High School concept review. Request for preliminary review and feedback for a proposed building expansion and site improvements at the Franklin High School located at 8222 South 51st Street. Good evening and welcome. Mr. Cromie, if you wouldn't mind just saying your name and business address for the record, please?
You bet. Andy Cromie, Assistant Superintendent with Franklin Public Schools, 8255 West Forest Hill Avenue. My apologies to those of you that were here Tuesday night, but you're going to hear some of the same comments. So again, thank you for having us tonight in front of the Plan Commission. And again, my apologies for those of you that are going to hear this again. And you will notice that we are short one member from Tuesday night and a couple others. There is also a retirement dinner going on tonight. So we're splitting our resources and competing against that. Just a reminder that the school district passed a referendum for multiple projects. What we're looking at tonight is the high school in November of 2024. The planning for that Franklin Forward project is what we title it, has been in place since spring of 2023. And that includes a presentation to the Common Council on 10/1 of '24. As part of our Franklin Forward process, we went through an entire facility study, so not just the high school, but all of our buildings. We went through an enrollment study, which provided us near-term projections through 2041. We did a community-wide survey of which our plans adjusted based on that feedback. We've been to multiple school board meetings or have discussed at multiple school board meetings each particular phase from elementary, middle, high school, capital improvements, and so forth. We did a presentation again to the Common Council on October 1st of 2024. Post-referendum, so since that vote in November, we've had numerous internal meetings with our stakeholders, so that would be administration and planning, staff, students. We've provided public feedback opportunities. We've held 2 neighborhood meetings specific to this project that included some feedback from our neighbors and shifted our plans. Again, what would be in the southeast corner of the property to moving those amenities as far west as possible. We've had 5 city staff and district meetings. We've met with police and fire regarding safety to the access of the site. Our site access overall doesn't change much. So even though we're routing off of Highview, we anticipate during construction approximately 50 cars on a daily basis, up to 100 in a peak summer construction period. Post-construction, we anticipate about 70 teachers using that drive. They'll park on the east side in a parking lot or a parking area that'll be constructed. So again, that's post-construction, about 70 cars morning, 70 cars PM when we think of the school hours. Again, bus, student, drivers, parents, routing, all of that will not change. That'll be routed just as it is today. During construction and in working with the city, we will route construction traffic, construction being trucks and deliveries, from Ryan Road up north through 51st Street. We are aware that that is clogged with the current Ryan Road construction, but in working with the city, that's the route that was provided to us. The use of the southeast corner of the property, which you'll see with the dotted box, the first dotted or the lower dotted box there, will help maintain the level of green space on the site, as we'll lose the north green space between the existing building and the main competition field for both physical education and athletic needs. It will also provide opportunity for our tennis team to host their first ever actual home tennis match that currently does not exist on site, and we have never had a high school home tennis match. Mitigation for a conservation easement, which is in the southeast corner, will take place in 2 areas. One in the northwest corner of the high school property, about 2.5 acres, and on additional off-site district property will be about 5 acres. And tonight we're talking about the entire site with the Plan Commission and looking for feedback, questions, comments. One final piece you'll notice where we connect to Highview, we will add a sidewalk there. So students who are traversing from the east side of our property will have an access point rather than walking all the way around that property to Forest Avenue and then hitting Forest Hill Avenue, and then hitting a sidewalk through some neighbors. We'll actually have a sidewalk off of a road.
Excellent.
For that particular piece. So we are looking again for some feedback and questions you might have tonight.
We'll open up to plan commissioners that didn't get their stuff answered Tuesday. Mr. Haley?
Thank you. I don't have too much to give you. One, be aware that engineering has a whole series of comments on this. I'm sure you're in discussions with them. One of them relating to the entrance off Highview Drive, 60-foot right-of-way width at the property line, so you want to revisit that. That area does concern me in terms of the access through the neighborhood. We're all going to hear about it. I mean, we understand the need for what you're trying to do, but I think we heard a long time back, maybe with the last edition, people were concerned about that. You're going to bring, by your own count, 140 automobiles in a minimum in and out of there every day. It will make some people happy. So I'd be prepared to deal with that. I guess I would further say that the southeast corner doesn't have a lot of green space left on it. You said you're using that to sort of mitigate the loss to the north, and I get it, but all you've got really is a soccer field. The rest is all paved or would be paved. There's the addition of 3 tennis courts in there at some point in the future.
So that will be staging for current construction, and as part of the final phase, which would be summer of 2028, that soccer field, which you see in the far southeast corner, 10 tennis courts, parking lot, and water runoff mitigation is the pond that's located there. We're actually water detention area you will see is close to the connection of Highview and the district property.
So you just indicated that during construction, the southeast corner is going to be used primarily for staging?
Yeah, where you see those tennis courts and parking lot, well, probably not all the way down to the tennis courts, but where the parking lot is, that'll all be gravelled over and where our construction is. So as I mentioned in the lead up, we'll have about 50 cars on a daily basis from our construction staff, potentially up to 100 during a peak summer construction day, but typically around 50 on a daily basis.
And is it anticipated that they would gain access from Highview Drive?
Correct.
There are a lot more unhappy people now. I mean, it's one thing cars driving through briefly.
So that all will be, that cars, workers' cars. Again, construction traffic and deliveries will come up 51st Street from Ryan Road. So we're talking workers were showing up in their cars to work.
Be aware, we've got a lot of residents that aren't going to be happy with this. It's right in their backyard.
Yep.
No, I guess I'm done. It is what it is. There's not much green space left.
Correct. Yeah, we're trying to maximize the site.
Stipulated the site as much as you can to squeeze everything in there, and, you know, that can be said to be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's what it is. Looks like it'll be a fine addition.
Oh, it'll be wonderful. Do you yield, sir?
Certainly.
Alderwoman Day, then Alderman Salus.
Thank you. I think I'll start this off, and then I believe the Alderman has some additional comments. I'm going to go back to our Highview Drive conversation from the other day. You had mentioned on Tuesday, and I believe again this evening, that once things are done, that entrance point is primarily for faculty coming in and out, and that's their dedicated parking lot back there, plus then any students who may be walking. My concern is that there's a good chunk of Franklin that lives to the east of the high school, and I still think it's going to be difficult to control the traffic coming in and out that is students both before and after. And I know you said that there would be somebody monitoring that. I'm curious if you could expand on that. You mean monitoring it like how? Like a person is going to be out there, or there's some sort of like camera system taking place? Like, I don't understand.
Yep, we will not have a person out there. We'll have cameras, and certainly we'll hear from teachers if a student is driving back there. So there'll be some of that. We'll check cameras and pull parking permits from students who are seen to be driving back there, whether before or after school.
And I know this is just conceptual at this point, so you don't have, numbers, and this isn't the official site plan, but approximately how many parking spots would you say that faculty parking lot could hold at capacity?
About 70.
About 70?
Yeah.
Okay. So
we have about 115, 120 staff there.
Sure.
So still about half of our staff will be parking up front.
Okay, and where I'm going with that is that eventually, once everything is completed and you have the tennis courts up, and you mentioned the ability to host tennis matches, is that parking lot going to be sufficient to hold people that would be coming to watch those tennis matches, or would traffic then be possibly parking out in the neighborhood and then walking there? Same question for football games. I mean, I know it's a little bit further away, but do you anticipate people trying to park along the street back there, knowing there's a driveway to come in, or a sidewalk to come in and walk around to the foot? I'm curious about, bigger events and having this access point back here, if it's going to be enough parking to prevent people from then parking on those smaller, narrow streets back there.
So I'll speak to the tennis piece first. So we anticipate that would be adequate for parking from a tennis standpoint. I would assume practices up there for freshmen and sophomores, parents are going to park up there too to pick up their children. In terms of like parking for something on the competition field, there is no direct walking access. If you park back there, you are walking all the way around the building from the Sabre Center down. So not only, there's no direct access to the field. And when opening up the, like for a basketball game or something like that, that entrance will still be in the front. We will have referee parking back there, so we anticipate a couple of cars will park there so our referees can get in and out without having to mingle with the public. But from a standpoint other than tennis or picking up practice up there, like you'll have to walk around the building.
And then two more questions. You mentioned, and I believe this is still the case, those soccer fields are primarily practice fields. The competition field is still going to be the football stadium.
Yeah, so the two existing green fields that are north of there, we do host freshman and JV games on there from time to time. I will tell you a soccer game is attended by like 10 people.
Sure.
The one that is anticipated to go to the south, again, that's designed to be a practice field, but could we hold a freshman or a JV game on there? Sure, but again, those are like 10 people show up and watch those. So like not to undermine it, but like that's what we see is not very much attendance at those games.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate what you're trying to do. My high school was 100% landlocked, and so every outdoor sporting event was a car ride away. It was not even walkable for us. So I understand the benefits of being able to just, be at your school and have your events. So I'm not taking away from any of that. I understand the importance of it. I think that was it for me for now. Thank you.
Alderman Sluse.
Well, my issue is not new. I stated last meeting that I really wish to see an access investigated to connect to Drexel Avenue. We have traffic issue as we speaking on 51st Street at the drop-off and pickup time. And we have a golden opportunity to connect and to create a second viable access to the side street, which is Drexel Avenue, that will eliminate a good deal of the traffic issues that we are facing. South of the high school, there's a lot of open land subject to development, and the busier 51st Street gets, the difficult time you have, the traffic jams and stuff like that. You have 500-600 vehicles trying to exit the school and competing with the traffic, through traffic. So I believe like long-term and for the sake of good planning, for the sake of the city residents and the school students and staff, I think this should be taken seriously. I did visit the site this morning and I do not see any problem in creating such an access to the Drexel Avenue without compromising any of the facilities you have in there between, I don't have the pointer, but between the...
Yeah, I guess I would be curious as to where you see that without destroying any of the existing green space or putting that exit to the fire department or mitigating a boatload of wetlands.
Very much. You see this? If I sent the sketch to that to go between this and exit there, just like you will not touch this, you will not touch that, just between both of them and exit there.
So that is all wetland. So that would be wetland mitigation, a significant cost
some
increase.
wetland, but I believe there is an upland in there. I did not see. I seen some wetland in that area there, but I believe there is a path of an upland. It should be, thoroughly investigated. Even if we have to use a little bit of the wetland, we could be mitigated easily because
Yeah, we would be looking at a significant cost increase to do that, to put that road in there. We'd also be exiting and entering very near the fire department and exiting between a roundabout or very adjacent to a roundabout as well. So potentially putting, as you say, a lot of cars into there, stopping that roundabout from functioning appropriately.
It's not like, a lot of the traffic, they'll be making a right turn. All we have to do just like an island in the middle of the street to allow the left turn to go. You will cut the exiting time out of the school, I would say, by at least 1/3. If engineering, if there is a will, there is a way. It's just like, I'm not here, to block anything. I approve the project. You want to approve as is, I'm willing to approve it as is. But I'm just like, basically, out of my life experience, you have an opportunity to have a second viable exit to a side street I believe that we should, investigate that and do our best ability, best effort to achieve that. This is the only high school we have in the city, and it's a substantial facility. You have like almost 2,000 between staff and students. In case of emergency, suppose you have, traffic jam on 51st Street, you want to have a second viable exit from a side street. That's, I'm still supporting that, that access to the Highview Street, but that if you have the access on Drexel, the Highview Street become very much like a staff use or emergency use. People will prefer to exit to Drexel. But if with the absence of a Drexel exit, you'll see abuse, you'll see people try to cheat the system. There'll be issues long term. So this is just like a point of view that I have, and I just want to present it for the record. That's all.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Day, back to you.
Yeah, I just
Bring it home.
Yep, I had one more thing about going back to my question about people from the front parking lots trying to loop around the back and come out on Highview. I have seen in other development projects before when people were trying to kind of control the flow of traffic in certain areas, that there are like temporary kind of barriers that are put up, not things that prevent emergency vehicles from getting through, but I don't know, there's probably a technical term for what I'm talking about, but I've seen it sometimes with like big apartment complexes or whatnot, where there's like the emergency entrance, but they'll put some sort of barrier there so cars aren't. And I'm wondering if maybe that's something to consider to try to keep as a deterrent for people from those front parking lots from trying to loop around the back and kind of control the traffic that's coming out.
Yep, it's certainly something we can consider.
That's
So if we
kind
see
of
that
a
being
lower
abused-
cost kind of mitigation piece, maybe. Just something to consider. Like I said, I'm not gonna, uphold anything if it's not in there, but just trying to think of ways to prevent a problem.
Yep,
That's all.
thank you.
Quick question. As I still am in possession of my 1984-85 parking pass, because I'm a nerd like that, but, so how do you tell if, is it all now just by license plate? Because I could have a pass and I could take my car, my parents' car. How does that work to show what students have paid to be in the parking area?
Yep, so they get a parking pass that is tied directly to the car that they're parking with. So if a student were to bring a different car, they should be notifying the office that today I brought X, Y, and Z car. Here's a license plate, insurance for that particular piece. They're assigned a number, so it's not just random parking. So for instance, my son has a parking pass. He has to park in spot X, Y, Z every day. And if that car's not parked there, then no one should be. Or if a different car is parked there, they should be, why is
Because I
that
had
parked there?
parking spot number 7, because the football players, we could get first, and we got our stuff. And then
Random draw now, so.
And then 7, so I thought it was really neat. I was right up in front. But then I could physically use my car, my parents' car, whatever, and that's how
Yep,
that
so we tie it directly to a car.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting. Very good. All right, is there a motion on this before I talk about more things? from any-
There's no motion, just
Nope,
discussion.
this is just feedback today.
Good. So that's no further action on this? Is that correct? Counselor? Good? All correct?
Yes, it moves us closer to being able to feed ourselves instead of feeding back.
I like it. Number 6.
Thank you.
Thank you. Monticello Duplex Condominiums Concept Review, requests for preliminary review and feedback for a proposed 24-unit condominium development upon property located at 12245 West Forest Home Avenue. Good evening, sir. I think I saw you on Tuesday, didn't I?
You did, sir.
How you doing?
I'm very good. Very good. How are you all?
Almost to the home. So, Regil, why don't you captain the ship?
Yeah, this is a concept review for kind of receive feedback from the commission. The applicant is proposing a multifamily condominium development with 24 units and a private road. So you can see in the conceptual layout, what the applicant is proposing is also leaving the existing wetlands on site on the store, kind of to minimize the impact to natural resources. Next steps regards to approval will be a condominium application, a site plan review going to Plan Commission, likely a special use permit. Also, staff forward the application to other departments. We're including the comments from the engineering department as well in the report. And there's no recommendation by staff. The applicant can provide further information.
So just so we're all on the same board, I'll use my cool pointer. This is in the Fighting D6, so you've got Forest Home. You've got, now this is that walking path, correct?
Correct, a
goes
paved
the-
bike path, I believe.
Downtown San Martin area over here. Okay, so when this first was conceptually brought up, it was nothing near the high quality that I believe you're bringing in. Because we've had a number, since I was alderman for 6 years, this district, there were plenty that were looking to bring in a project nowhere near the quality of yours. So I just wanted to make that on record that I think you're bringing in a quality project. I think it'd be well received. I think it's going to be good for the area. So there you go, look at that.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear.
Doesn't hurt.
No, very good.
Because your people, as the counselor was about to say, during the St. Martin's Fair can use this as a shortcut. So they will appreciate that once they get in here and find out that that fair that's been here since 1958 is a big deal. What do we have, Mr. Martinez, for the rest of the evening on this?
This is the last item. No motion.
Questions from the commission? There we go. Good. Mr. Haley, District 6.
Just a comment, we've got, across the line, but in New Berlin, there's a new school district there, so you might want to consider that. I mean, unfortunately, Forest Home is, unfortunately, county trunk highway, so you can't control it, but pedestrian circulation safety out on the edges is something I think you want to think about. The development itself makes all kinds of sense. Been waiting for it.
Yeah, we anticipate this being primarily I don't want to say an elderly market, but there'll be higher end, full basement condominiums with exposed basements on the majority of them. You can see we've got side entrances to mix up the architecture. Approximately half of the buildings will have side drives on one of the units to allow us some flexibility. We will vary the building both with color, materials, and amount of masonry from building to building to create more of a high aesthetic quality product. When we've done this in the past, we actually mix up the architecture a little bit from building to building, so we don't see a cookie cutter style, which unfortunately we see all too often.
I like it. Any further, Mr. Haley, still the floor?
No, I think it's really nice. I guess do your civil engineering on it. I'd look at the soils if you're doing full basements. It's kind of wet up there. But
We're on a nice knoll here, which actually allows some
engineers.
space.
Just do the borings and make sure that you heed all that stuff. That looks very nice buildings. I like it.
Any further action from us tonight, Mr. Martinez?
Oh, just the motion to adjourn.
We can do that. Motion to adjourn?
Okay, thank you, ladies and
So
gentlemen.
moved.
We'll be back.
First and a second, I'll second it. All's in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have a motion carries. We are now adjourned officially at 7:43 PM. You can have whatever you wish. I just leave it all.